surrender to the rush of day, when the heat of the rolling world can be turned away. Enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. Y esta noche es para amar, todo listo está. El destino nos trajo hasta aquí. There's a time for everyone, if they only learn that the twisting kaleidoscope moves us all in turn.
Todos los colores caen en su lugar cuando ambos corazones vibran a la par.
Can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are. It's enough for this wide-eyed wanderer that we got this far. Esta noche es para amar, todo listo está. El destino nos trajo hasta aquí para revivir. It's enough to make kings and vagabonds believe the very best.
I was always rushing everywhere, going from town to town, playing my music, living my dream, when suddenly the world shut down. The virus hit us just like that. I didn't know what I'd do, but I quickly found out love and kindness was gonna get me through. Love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. So many of us have been hurting. So many of us are unsure. Will we ever go back to normal? Will they ever find a cure? I thank God each day that I wake up that my loved ones are still here. I have faith and I have hope. I won't be ruled by fear. I choose love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. This all happened for a reason, there's no doubt in my mind. This is the changing season, we must leave our ways behind. I believe in love and kindness, hearts that give. This is what guides us, the best way we can live. Things won't be this way forever. Let's stay strong and hold it together with love and kindness each and every day. Love and kindness each and every day.
There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth. As simple as the love inside of you. We speak so many languages. We have different clothing, different colors, different names. Different is only dangerous. We forget that in the heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings of heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, so what power can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby. The serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's the love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. Yeah, it's what we are. One power. One there's a part of me that knows the answer to every question before I ask it. There's a part of you that knows the answer to every question before you ask it. 'Cause we are one. We are one. We are one, and we know what to do. We are one. We are one. We are one, and we know what to do. And there's a part of me that knows what to say before I open my mouth to speak. And there's a part of you that knows what to say before you open your mouth to speak. 'Cause we are one. We are one. We are one, and we know what to say. We are one. We're listening. We are one. Receiving. We are one as we walk through our day. Believing. 'Cause we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. And we know what to do.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here.
Hello, and welcome to the People of Diversity Sunday service. We are a multi-faith community, and we believe there are many paths to one divinity. And if you would like to know more about our multi-faith endeavors, go to www.peopleofdiversity.org. And there'll be some more announcements after the message about things that we have going on, so stick around. We are on the topic of duality. Last week we had our Muslim representative, Naran Sykes. She gave an amazing talk, very, very thought-provoking, good talk. And her musical guests were Bob Simon, Shannon Plummer. That was also excellent. Today we have our Buddhist representative, Sensei Dave Vidito, and his musical guest is Rob Thorworth. Next week we'll have our Melchizedek Christian representative, Reverend Solidia Junis, and her musical guest will be Daniel Capel. So, without further ado, we'll see you on the other side.
Hello, people of diversity. This is a song called Boy and Girl, and our theme is duality. And this is the duality of man and woman, and a spiritual embodiment of that, Adam and Eve, and typical roles of relationships and failings or the fall of those relationships, and the real love versus fake love, and just the everyday verification of that on a subtle day-to-day basis. Of us begins with a clump of sand. Measure all my reassurance, grinding my teeth across a string of pearls. Let's keep it simple and fall into the roles of boy and girl. Boy and girl. Suddenly now, a deeply symbolic pair, and the veil of love stripped of all its mystery, painfully made aware. Measure all my reassurance, grinding my teeth across a string of pearls. Let's keep it simple and fall into the roles of boy and girl. Boy and girl. Boy and girl. Boy and girl. Boy and girl are happy. It's not like them to be sad. Boy and girl are happy. It's not like them to be like them to fall from the roles of boy and girl. Love, coiled up serpentine love. I'm watching as your hand pulls from the tree of life, fruit of what's become of us. It's more than we can stand. Measure all my reassurance, grinding my teeth across a string of fakes. Let's keep it simple and fall. Boy and girl. keeping with the duality theme, so this is a song called Under Our Nose, and it's about being the duality of being materially poor versus spiritually abundant, and inner wealth versus worldly possessions. And sometimes we have to be stripped of, things in order to, dig deep and see the value in that. And sometimes it's just about stopping and taking a breath and, stopping. And so this song is based on that theme and exaggerations of snips of my own life in order to make the story/song work.
She was wrestling with the covers. I wake up and I sweat. There's been a knocking at the hotel door. Why ain't you answered it yet? Housekeeping wants to know if we need extra towels. No, but there's one thing we do need. It's just a few more hours. That's the way it always seems, babe. That's the way it always goes. You want something better, babe. It's right here under our nose. Guess I bet the truck stopped. Browsing through the chrome, reflecting on the asphalt and hotel doors. Ever since we lost our home, checkout wants to know if I want a large or small. I feel a lucky man privileged to get a small at all. That's the way it always seems, babe. That's the way it always goes. You want something better, babe. It's right here under our nose. It's right here under our nose. Breathing every day. Breathing every day. We lost everything, babe, and I fight with bouts of shame. You'd love the man standing in this hotel door if he were penniless and lame. That's one thing I know for sure, babe, and I know it sounds cliche. We gotta help and each other, babe, and breathing every day. That's the way it always seems, babe. That's the way it always goes. You want something better, babe. It's right here under our nose. That's the way it always seems, babe. That's the way it always goes. When you want something better, babe, it's right here under our nose. It's right here under our nose. Breathing every day. Breathing every day.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dave Vidito with Open Mind Zen, and today's topic is duality. And so it's always a dangerous thing, I think, asking a Zen teacher about duality. So, but I'll jump in today. I want to put this in the context of certain stories within Zen, because I think duality and its counterpart, non-duality, right? Duality separate, non-duality, right? Together, or one. It's kind of a yin-yang, front-back. You really have to look at one in the context of the other. I don't know that one is clear unless you have that contrast with the other. And so the stories that I'm going to talk about today are going to blend these together in a way. And hopefully we'll be looking at this in a little different way. So I'll start with a story that I heard. I was visiting the Zen Mountain Monastery up near Woodstock, New York, northern New York. And I was told a story there about one of their founding teacher, Daido Lori, who was a fairly famous teacher. And one time he went to visit this conference, and there were religious leaders from around the world, all these different traditions, Christian, Jewish, I believe Muslim, others, and they were all talking about the nature of God at this conference. And Daido Lori finally walks up to the podium. It's his turn to speak, and he gives a talk, or gives his talk. But then at the end, someone asked a question. In Zen, there really isn't a concept of God. What is God? And Daido Lori just looks at them and says, I am God. At which point everyone gets upset and they have to usher Daido Lori out of the room. So I want to come back to that story at the end. As we talk about duality and non-duality, what did he mean, I am God? Because context is everything. It could mean many different things, depending on who you are. He was speaking from that non-dualistic perspective. The audience, more dualistic. But we'll come back to that, right? I am God. And actually, I think I'll use that concept throughout here. Zen really doesn't have this notion of God, not in the same sense that most religions do. There are gods in the mythical pantheon, but they are more mythical beings that are more for teaching and not necessarily to be taken literally. But we all have that, we all resonate, I think, particularly in the West, with this notion of God or oneness. So I'll use God today in the stories as I talk about duality, non-duality, what that means. So, all right, so my favorite way of talking about this is to use the 10 ox herding pictures. And these are 10 fairly famous pictures in Zen. They were actually created by a 12th century monk, Guan Xian. And it actually is an expansion upon an ancient Taoist story, but it's a series of 10 pictures of an ox herder chasing an ox. And it's a parable or an allegory for practice path, enlightenment, right? The Zen path, the Buddhist path. And I found some particular images that I liked, created by a teacher, just happened to be at the Zen Mountain Monastery, that I particularly like in brushwork. So if my video editing skills work, I'll put that on the screen here in a minute. So in this story, you have the ox herder. It isn't too hard to figure out who the ox herder represents, right? It represents us, me, you, right? Ox herder, this is the person that you can see yourself in this, right? We're searching. How often have we been seeking something in our lives? I think periodically in our lives we need something and we seek. We're all here today because originally we were seeking something, we needed something. And so we can see ourselves in this ox herder. We are the seeker. And now the ox represents that thing that they're searching for. Now in Zen, the traditional interpretation of these pictures, the ox represents enlightenment. So the ox herder, right, the practitioner is seeking enlightenment. But you can also look at this as God. We are seeking God. We all come to religion one way or another, some flavor of that. We're seeking for, looking for something that's missing God. And so let's kind of use that as our analogy today. And I think you can see into these pictures based on where you are and what your practice is, what your religion is. So let's begin here. So I'll put up the first picture. And I love the brushwork that you see in the picture here. And if you look closely, you'll see the ox herder. He's on the path, no ox to be found. We all start that way. He's beginning his journey as the seeker. And with each of these, there's actually a poem, little verse that goes with it. And I'll read some of them. This one, the verse is, "In the pasture of the world, I endlessly push aside the tall grasses in search of the bull. Following unnamed rivers, lost upon the interpenetrating paths of distant mountains, my strength failing and my vitality exhausted, I cannot find the bull. I only hear the locusts chirping through the forest at night." So there's a sense of almost desperation that we see here in this ox herder. He's looking along this path. He doesn't see it. Matt, just think back to where you were at the beginning of your spiritual journey, right? There was something missing, right? You were seeking, you were looking, whether that's God or enlightenment or whatever this is for you. There's a dissatisfaction with life and the sense of, I need a change, right? So we're seekers. And if you look closely at the imagery, you'll actually see some details here that I think are kind of interesting. There's a whip and a rope. So he's going to whip that ox into doing what he wants, and he's going to catch it with a rope. And how often do we bring that idea, maybe unconsciously, to God, to our practice? It's not so much about us changing and embracing what is. We want to hammer into shape, make the world fit what we think we need. So our ox herder has a whip and a rope. Next picture. Here we are discovering the footprints. So we have a hint. We don't see the ox. We haven't found God, but there's some hint. Right? The verse, "Along the riverbank, under the trees I discover footprints. Even under the fragrant grass I see his prints. Deep in remote mountains they are found. These traces can no more be hidden than one's nose, looking heavenward." So we've caught sight of this, right? We have hope at this point. We haven't found it yet. We still have our whip at the ready. We have our rope at the ready, but we haven't found it, right? We're missing something. Next, perceiving the bull, number 3. I hear the song of the nightingale. The sun is warm, the wind is mild, willows are green along the shore. Here no bull can hide. What artist can draw that massive head, those majestic horns? So here we just have a glimpse of the bull. And I love how the artist draws the ass end of the bull. Not the whole bull, just a little glimpse. And you can think back. I can think back to different points in my practice that I just get that little glimpse of understanding that spurred me on, right? It was encouraging, almost like a nourishment, or that glimpse of God. There's a hope that comes with that. We don't have it yet. We still have that whip. We still have that rope. We're ready to jump in, but we have hope. And I think this is important, particularly as those of us who are already on the path or have been doing this a while, as people come in to see that they're traveling this journey. They always come in seeking, and they need that hope. They need that, just that little bit of that glimpse of what could be. of what is. And sometimes that comes through other people, other practitioners, us bearing witness, us listening, us connecting with other people. We are agents in the world of the larger. All right. So then the next one, 4, catching the bull. The fight is on. I find the bull. I seize him with a terrific struggle. His great will and power are inexhaustible. He charges to the great plateau far above the clouds, or an impenetrable ravine, or in an impenetrable ravine he stands. And so here, I think we can all relate to this, right? We come into our religion, come into our practice, and all of a sudden it gets hard. It could be something in our life. It could be, most often, it's things we've discovered about ourselves that we struggle with. It could be our past. It could be our trauma. It could be ideas that we're stuck on. All these number of relationships in our lives. Let us not forget that. Things that we struggle with. And ultimately, we're struggling to make meaning of this. We struggle with God. We struggle with wrestling this idea of, well, what is enlightenment? I want this. Ironically, the more you want to be enlightened, the further you are from it. You have to let go of all of those ideas. So here we have the if you can think of it as the disciplined practitioner who's struggling to understand, right? Trying to grab the bull by the horns, so to speak. Next, 5, taming the bull. The whip and rope are necessary, else he might stray off down some dusty road. Being well trained, he becomes naturally gentle. Then unfettered, he obeys his master. So here now there's more of an understanding between the seeker and the practice, the seeker and God. There's some level of understanding there. And if you look at this, I see this more as less that the bull has calmed down, and it's more that the seeker is no longer resisting. It's no longer forcing the bull to do what is unnatural. There's a connection here between the two, and you can see that as a connection and ease, a flowing into the practice. Haven't quite reached enlightenment in this picture, haven't quite reached understanding of God. But there's an ease and a practice. We're settling in. We're settling in. And then 6, we'll ride the bull home. Mounting the bull, slowly I return home. The voice of my flute intones through the evening. So there's a certain joy here and ease. The whip and rope are gone. Right? Riding the back of the bull, riding the back of the ox. And you can see this in more advanced practitioners. As the Dharma becomes a natural extension of your life, right? Or the religious teachings or God's teachings becomes a natural extension of your life, almost through your pores. It's natural and it's ease. In some ways, you're coming home, coming back to your natural self, your true self, right? We are built in the image of God. You're starting to see that. You're starting to recognize that. And then finally, 7, the bull transcended. Astride the bull I reach home, I am serene. The bull too can rest. The dawn has come in blissful repose. Within my thatched dwelling I have abandoned the whip and ropes. So he's home. And it shows the bull gone. He didn't leave. Think of this more as the practitioner has let go of their ideas about enlightenment or a practitioner has let go of their ideas about God. There is no longer a need to force fit God into being a certain way. There's no longer a need to force fit this enlightenment experience to be a certain way, to happen on a certain timetable, to affect me in certain ways. There's an ease with the practice, a settling in with the practice. And you can see here that we're starting to let go. You think of the bull, the ox, and the ox herder, right? Dualistic ideas, right? I am somehow separate from God. I am somehow separate from enlightenment. I am somehow separate from the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, right? When the seeker started, it was very separate, dualistic. Here, starting to realize that I was chasing an idea, and the bull is now gone. The idea of the bull is gone. Or not gone, but maybe lessened. Not as rigid. Here, that practitioner is open. Open. So next, let's see, 8. Both bull and self transcended. So in the previous one, we transcended the bull. Here, transcends self. Whip, rope, person, and bull all merge into no thing. This heaven is so vast, no message can stain it. How may a snowflake exist in a raging fire? Here are the footprints of the ancestors. So if you read back in the stories of those who really had deep, deep understanding, deep, deep experience of God, or deep enlightenment experiences, it is transformative. Because not only do you, in those experiences, not only do you let go of your notions of God, your notions of enlightenment, your ideas of self in those moments fade away. And experience for me, this happened after, I don't know, maybe my 3rd week-long retreat. And I come home from the retreat having spent the whole week meditating. And when you go to these retreats, these meditation retreats, you are meditating anywhere from 6 to 10 hours a day, depending upon how they set up the retreat. And so when you come home, I've been doing this steadily for almost a week. And I laid down to sleep. And I remember as I slept, this sensation of everything kind of collapsing in, but then radiating outward. It's almost like I disappeared and there was nothing left but this radiant energy. And I still had the sense of me laying in the bed, but in some sense I was beyond that. Everything fell away. It was this beautiful sensation, this beautiful feeling. It was oneness. And I see that experience for me is what I see in this particular picture number 8. Of course, being a Zen tradition, I then go in and tell my teacher about it, Roshi Al, and he says, good. What's next? Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck there. But this is that enlightenment moment. Now, remember, there are 10 pictures. So we've achieved enlightenment. We've achieved oneness with God. But we're not there yet. There's more. So next, number 9, reaching the source. Too many steps have been taken. Returning to the root and the source. Better to have been blind and deaf from the beginning. Dwelling in one's true abode, unconcerned with and without, the rivers flow tranquilly on, and the flowers are red. So here, right, you're starting to see the world as it is. You're starting to see yourself as you truly are through the labels, through the preconceived ideas, through the stories that parents and family and society have placed upon you. Deeper, deep within, who are you? And you begin to see that you are intimately connected with all that is. With nature, with other people. And so here there's a true non-duality, right? We've gone from myself and the ox, we transcend the ox, now we transcend both, and then in a way we come back. And there's a lovely poem, I think it's from Dogen, I'm going off memory. He said, before enlightenment there were mountains and rivers. During enlightenment, no mountains, no rivers. And after enlightenment, there are once again mountains and rivers. So we're back where we start. But instead of my ideas about the mountains and rivers, I just experience it, right? I understand at a deep level that I am connected, right? There is this non-dualistic relationship between me and what is. There is also a dualistic. It's not one, it's not the other. It's not one, it's not the other. It's both, but neither. All of those intertwined. Dualistic, duality, and non-duality. And here, right, we're really seeing ourselves, seeing our world, seeing our relationship to the world more clearly. And then the last one, number 10, in the world. And here you see, if you look at the picture, he's almost joyous as he's walking back into the village. Barefoot and naked abreast, I mingle with the people of the world. My clothes are ragged and dust-laden, and I am ever blissful. I use no magic to extend my life. Now, before me, the dead trees become alive. And so here, finally, kind of coming back to yourself. You are connected to yourself. You're connected to God. You're connected to the world. You're connected to the oneness that is. And yet you recognize that there is a duality. There are people that need help. And so this is the path of the Bodhisattva, right? The Bodhisattva is someone who has suffered and is suffering, but has an understanding, right? Has some understanding of enlightenment, some understanding of God. And so they want to venture out into the world and bear witness, help, dig in, do something, right? Anything they can to alleviate the suffering in the world. And so in this final picture, you see a wonderful blending of the dualistic and non-dualistic working together, right? Seeing the world, right? We're all out there, we're all individuals, but understanding the interdependence of all of them. How we are in this together. We need to support each other. We need to care for the earth. All of this. So this is the dualism and non-dualism coming together. So come back to Dido Lori in that story at the very beginning, right? He's standing before all the priests and rabbis and imams, and they ask him, "Who is God?" And he simply says, "I am." And if you look at that answer from the perspective of this 10th picture, there's a freedom there. I am. Because I am not separate. God isn't out there, and I'm here. We're here. We are. I am. And I think we see ourselves as separate, particularly at the beginning when we're starting this practice. And even people who have been going to church for years and years and years, they still see themselves as separate, and they have to somehow live up to some ideal I don't know, change themselves to be something they're not so they can live up to some idea or fantasy about the world or God. That's why I love Zen. There's a gentle ease with just seeing yourself. Just experiencing the world as it is. And sometimes that's painful. Sometimes that's a challenge. But what else do we have? And it is through this world, that you can then experience life, experience all things, care for one another. So when I think of dualism, again, I think of it in concert with non-dualism. And we start off seeing ourselves as separate. And little by little, we begin to see that I am not separate from what is. And it's easy to say that. It's difficult to know it. To know it down in the bones and marrow of your being. And that's where practice comes in. That's where study comes in. That's where working with other practitioners. Make the teachings a natural part of your life, right? The Dharma should be flowing through your veins. It shouldn't be a set of rules that you are shackling yourself to. I'd like to try a little exercise, and I'll warn you now, Zen is not for the timid, so you may find this a little challenging. Put that back. But what I'd like to do is do a meditation exercise exploring non-duality, and in the end, coming back to experiencing duality. So go ahead and settle in. Sit in your chair, or if you're in a chair, make sure you're sitting upright, feet on the floor, hands resting naturally, and just breathe. Right? Feel your breath, hear your breath, notice your abdomen and chest kind of raising slowly and emptying. Just become intimately aware of breathing. And as you do this, just see if you can bring your whole body to mind and just notice it, top to bottom. And just say to yourself, I am here. I am here. And breathing and noticing. Now maybe expand your awareness to the entire room, the room in which you're sitting. Breathe. I am here. Just say that to yourself. Now allow your awareness to expand even further, holding the city, the state, your country. Hold that in your mind. All the variety, all the different people, nature, all of that. I am here. And expanding again, holding the world. I am here. And there was a mythical being, Avalokiteshvara, Bodhisattva. She was the being of compassion beyond compassion. The Lord who hears the cries of the world. And bring our focus like this mythical being does to the cries of the world. If you're willing, hold the Middle East in your mind. Everything that's going on, just mindfully hold Israel and Palestine in your mind and say to yourself, I am here. I am here. Now, if you're able and willing, bring yourself in even closer. Bring yourself down into Gaza. See the child, hungry, hurt, and alone. Hold that Palestinian child in your mind and say, I am here. This is me. This is me. Letting go of that, bring to mind a hostage, an Israeli hostage. I am here. This is me. Now letting go of those, coming back, seeing the whole world, breathing in, out. When you're ready, open your eyes. So, was one of those difficult? Depending upon your worldview, one of them might have been more difficult than the other. How often or how easy is it for us to think of another people as other, different, not worthy? They asked for it. And that is dualism at its worst, because I am here and they are there, and I have all of my ideas and concepts about all the things that are wrong about other. There is no non-duality. There is no oneness. There is no room for God when you've separated yourself. Conversely, maybe one side you had an affinity for. Did you really have an affinity for that person or that situation, or was it your ideas? How easy is it to ignore the good and the bad and only see the good? That's the mirror image. If we really are one with God, if we really are one with what is, how can we not love all beings? Now, that does not mean that we don't have opinions. That does not mean that we don't fight for what we believe. But don't lose yourself in that process. Always see the value in that other person. You can see the trauma and the pain where they came from. You can see the potential. Because there go I, if it weren't for a different set of parents, different circumstance, there go I. I am here. They are here. So I don't like ending on such a heavy note, but this is a meaty, meaty topic. Dualism, non-dualism, and work with that. If any of those were uncomfortable, the Zen practitioner me says good. That's pointing at something to work with, something to examine. Always challenge your practice. Always challenge your religion. Challenge God. If you are unwilling to challenge, to grow, to doubt, how boring life would be. So, with that, I will leave you. If anything came up and you would like to discuss it, I'm always here. You can find me through the Open Mind Zen website. I'm always available. So, all right, thank you. I love you all. Take care.
Big thank yous to Rob Thorworth. It's so great to have you with us in the family, and we really enjoy your contributions to this effort. And Sensei Dave, you're always great. You just have such an amazing outlook on things, and the perspective that you give us is always very educational and also very personal. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Philip Lupo and his tech team, yay guys. Every week they come through for us, and again, we so appreciate them and their contributions to this effort. If you are out there in the world and you have needs for any kind of technical business like this stuff, go to the address below and Philip and his team will set you up. Past services can be seen on Facebook Live, the People of Diversity Facebook Live, or the Facebook group, either one. Or we also have a People of Diversity YouTube channel, which has a really cool playlist function that you can search on faith, or you can search on topic, and really hone down in what you're trying to learn and to grow your spiritual path. Immediately after the morning service, as soon as this is over, if you're watching on Sunday morning, immediately after that, we have a live Zoom deep dive. The address is on the screen below or in the event, and we just chat for 30 minutes. We talk about the message, what we thought about it, our different views on it, and also just check in, say hey. It's a lot of fun, and we keep it right to 30 minutes. So join us for that. We have a second broadcast of the service on Sunday evenings at 5:45 p.m. on Facebook Live. So if you saw something that you enjoyed or something you'd like to hear again, go to Facebook Live and check it out. You can get notifications about services and notifications about other things that we're doing by joining the People of Diversity Facebook page or the group, or the YouTube channel. And on Sunday mornings and Sunday evenings you'll get a little ding that says, okay, it's getting ready to start, and it'll just help you remember. We have started having live events. We've actually had 4. It's been going on a couple of months. They're at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Rockledge, Florida. They begin at 7 o'clock and end a little before 9 typically. We try to get out of there by 9 o'clock. And they're on the first and the last Mondays of each month. So the first and the last Monday. This Monday, the last Monday of September, which I believe is the 30th, is our Wiccan representative, Oracle, is going to do a fall equinox celebration. It's going to be really cool. I've been to one of his spring equinox events, and it's very fun, very enlightening, really cool. So join us for that. The Monday after that, which will be October 7th, our dear friend Jan Rosbach is going to do an experience looking at the teachings of Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction. And that's something I don't know very much about, and I'm really looking forward to that. These events are free. You just come and participate. Most of them have been interactive, and but we will gladly accept love offerings because we like to we have to pay the rent there, and also we like to give our facilitators something for their time and trouble. So join us September 30th for the fall equinox event, and October 7th for Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction. Our country this week is Taiwan. So if you would join me in sending our love and blessings to Taiwan, and say these words together: may peace prevail in Taiwan, may peace prevail on earth, may peace prevail in me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next week, as a reminder, Melchizedek Christian, Reverend Celidia Junis, and her musical guest Daniel Capel. That will be a good one on duality. And right now we want to just take a few minutes and put our gratitude out there in the universe for so many things. It's a tough world right now. And if we just remember all of the good things to be grateful for, all the blessings that we have, it makes life a whole lot more pleasant and a lot easier. So let's join together for a moment. Thank you, Spirit, for everything that the pod is and the pod does, all of the people involved, from the speakers and the musicians and our tech team and the viewers, just everybody that this touches. We are so grateful for everything, and we say amen. Okay, last thing, our energetic healing circle. Bring to your mind's eye any person, place, situation, whatever. Bring it to your mind's eye and put it in the center of our circle. Send your energy out as we join together and vision these things and listen to this last song and send our healing around the circle and into the circle and open up and get some on yourself. So thank you so much for being with us, and we will see you in the deep dive or whenever you join us again. Have a great week. Thank you.
One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of